It's time to go to the Lost Hold and to 100% it. Dawnstar went great, and Winterhold is the shortest one. So I'm just gonna take care of it before we go into the college, cause after that, it's gonna be action-packed until the end.
Let's put out a bounty on some bandits. Here, take a look at this decree for details.
That is Winterhold's Radiant Quest. We're gonna help everybody. And not just in the town, cause there's plenty to do in the area that's not exactly the capital. Now, the Jarl is gonna have a quest that's mandatory for me to become a Thane. Unfortunately, there are no houses available in Winterhold. And oh, Pride of Tel'Vos, that's gonna be easy. So into the Frozen Hearth we go. Let's see what we have in store.
I'm just trying to have... Got any ale or mead?
I do, and Ranmir has a whole quest that's not gonna show up, but that we can still do it. And if I'm not mistaken, this is the only time I'll have a check to do. The rest of the quest is bugged, but again, doable. It just doesn't show up on the quest log, so gotta take that stuff to Malur. So the first part about Ranmir is that before he opens up, he has a debt to settle. He owes money, so pay up.
You're right. What would my forefathers think if they knew I wasn't paying my debts? Tell Har and I'll bring her the gold I owe.
From here on out, when I go back to the bartender later on and do the rest of the quest, nothing's gonna show up on the quest log. But in the end, it will just work. Seriously, it will just work. It simply won't show up on the quest log. And what kind of reward was that? Okay, so Malur, I've got the stuff you wanted.
Serve the Jarl, not waste time talking with travelers.
I literally did this for you.
This should come in handy. Here, let me show you a few tricks I've learned about buttering up royalty. Safe travels.
Well, at least he dropped the attitude. We also have some bandits to take care of as part of a very radiant quest that's extremely useless, but 100%ing it and all, you know. Just gonna make it quick, but I had to, at least once per hold. So Malur, the bandit leader, has been taken care of.
You've done us a great service.
But did I though? 100 coins? But okay, into the wreck Pride of Tel'Vos, which is not a dungeon, which I thought it would be. It's a boat. Look at me looking for the thing when it's just a boat. No door or anything, it's just sitting there, so thank you very much. I'm just gonna go back. The Dromoris can take care of it. And
What can I do for you, friend?
is this enough for me to become Thane?
Winterhold used to be the seat of power in Skyrim. Now it's a shell.
Well, speaking of shells, here's a helm.
Can you believe that this hold used to contend for the throne of the High King? Now perhaps others will listen. Here, your reward is promised. You have Winterhold's thanks.
Yeah, you don't even have a house for me, but
There is room in my court for a new Thane. It's an honorary title, mainly, but there are a few perks someone like you could make use of. However, I could only grant the title to someone who is known throughout my hold. You help my people, and I'll make you my Thane.
done.
Good luck to you.
No, I'm not saying it's a deal, I'm saying it's done.
Then by my right as Jarl, I name you Thane of Winterhold. I grant you this weapon from the armory to serve as your badge of office. I'll also notify the guards of your new title. Wouldn't want them to think you're part of the common rabble now.
Told you it was gonna be easy. Well, actually, I told you it was gonna be short, so back to Dagur, so we can finish Ranmir's
You're
quest.
welcome to stay here. It's where most of our business comes from, in fact.
Anything else that
not
needs
exactly.
doing?
Listen, we're friends, right?
I just
I
met
wonder if
you.
I could ask a favor of you.
Well, everyone else does, so go on
It's
ahead.
about Ranmir. Don't get me wrong. I don't have a problem with him being here all the time. He mostly keeps to himself, and so far he's been able to pay. I just hate to see what's happened to him. He hasn't always been like this, you know. Drunk, I mean.
Well, what did he used to be like?
Oh, he was a different person. Happy, outgoing, like anyone who's in love.
Are you sure he's not just approaching his 30s?
Ranmir was involved with a pretty young woman named Isabel Rollane. The two of them were very happy together, I thought. One day, she just disappeared. Ranmir was convinced she'd run off with someone else, leaving him behind. He turned to drinking. And what's left of him is what you see here every day.
And, what would
I'm
you
not
have
sure.
me do?
I hope that maybe if she could be found, if he had some sort of explanation, that maybe he could put himself back together. I'm in no position to go searching for her, but perhaps you could.
Absolutely. Except, no marker. Not anything. So I'll just have
Unless
to wing
you're
it.
bringing me another round, you can just keep walking.
So you knew Isabel.
What? Don't you say that name to me. Don't you dare. Ever.
Okay, Ranmir, I'm not doing this to piss you off.
Oh no, Dagger's been talking at you, hasn't he? Gotten you roped into his little plan to fix Ranmir's life. I'll tell you what I told him. Stay out of it. It's none of your business. Those aren't folks you want to get tangled up with.
I'm just trying to help the bro.
You'll wind up getting yourself killed. Dagger shouldn't have said a word about it. I love the man, bless his heart, but he doesn't know the whole story. One night, Ranmir was in here like always, drinking himself to death. When I told him there was no more hunting brew, that he drank all of it, he got angry. He ranted at me. How I didn't know what he's been through. How Isabel broke his heart when she ran off with some thief named Vex. He said he'd even gone to Riften to try and find the bastard. I think maybe he was hoping they'd just kill him, and that'd be the end of it. Dagger never heard any of this, and I chose to keep it to myself. I'm only telling you so you don't get into trouble. Riften and thieves means trouble. Just leave it alone.
First off, I'm not gonna get killed.
No, there isn't, and I suggest you leave it at that. I don't want to see anyone get hurt over this.
Oh, you're just sending me to Vex,
Good day.
which is a good buddy of mine.
Sorry, lad. I've got important...
Oh, shut up, Brynjolf. You always say that. Well, to be fair, I'm the
Ready
one
for some
that
work, or are you just gonna wander around
is
all
the
day?
leader and is never around, so maybe
Who's
he's
asking?
right. I am, on behalf of her husband.
Well, I ain't gonna find her here. Haven't seen her in a while.
But, so, you do know her.
She came through a while ago. Wanted to know where she could get her hands on something valuable. Anything, really. I told her it was a bad idea. That she wasn't cut out for what'd be necessary, but she wouldn't hear it. So, I gave her some advice, pointed her towards Hobbsfall Cave, and that was that.
Oh, it's always locations I've been in before, but this time, because the quest started, she's just by the entrance. So that's nice, I didn't have to skip anything, and she had me on the first part, but she was actually just miserable and eager to make a good penny so she could live happily forever after with
My
Ranmir.
favorite drinking buddy. Let's get some mead.
Hey buddy, I have something for you.
Unless it's gold for another round of drinks, I don't want to hear it.
Oh, it's gonna be gold, but...
A what? Don't you go pulling my leg. Give it here.
Yeah,
This-
you're welcome.
This is really from her, isn't it? Did she really run off and do this? For me? By the 8. She's dead, isn't she? And it's all my fault. I have some thinking to do. Thank you for this.
Funny enough, he doesn't want to drink anymore. Now, if it were me, that would be the... Yeah, I would accept one right after reading the letter. And also, it's finally time. Oh, I received a letter from a friend to go into Mount Anthor. And that's located in Winterhold, so what a 2-in-1. Unfortunately, for the friend that no one knows who he is, I'm probably not ever gonna receive another letter, even though there's still a couple shouts that I'll need to get for the 100% run. So, Blood Dragon, you're done. Thank you so much. And let's move on to Frostflow Lighthouse, where at first I didn't remember that there was gonna be a quest, so sheer luck on my behalf, because the only reason this is included is because I was after a very, very interesting insect in a jar, the torch bug. It just felt funny to me to collect them, because back in the day, oh boy, we were hella curious what they were for. They have a rune inscribed on them, but nope, that's just aesthetic. Nothing to it at all. Decoration only, because people, well, players do overthink, kinda like everyone, quote unquote, thinks that Sturgis is a synth on Fallout 4. For sure, because the game file says so, and yet in New Vegas, Joshua Graham is 100% a Legion member. Guess who believes he's still a member? Not a single person. Another fun fact, since this is Skyrim, do you think that Mike the Liar is a member of the Thieves Guild? Because he's marked as one. So yeah, fight me on the Sturgis one. I ought to make a video on that. In fact, I should really beat that dead horse forever. Not because of the original theories, but because of how they grew. So yeah, I'm calling probably you out. Not the people that made theory videos, just to be clear. Now, I said I'm calling you out, but you're a sweetie. So here, have some knowledge. If you do this quest, you get the Sailor's Repose, which becomes an active effect that gives you 10% more healing power on restoration spells. And now, there's 3 things I want to do. Ironbind Barrow is where we're gonna meet these couple people.
Speak with Miss Salma.
And there's other 2 things that are gonna include kind of miscellaneous, but not really quests. Still, 100%ing it, you know.
It's high time we get in there and find our fortune.
Salma, if you wanna stay outside, that's okay, but I'm gonna go in.
Not without us, you aren't. I'm sure there's enough for everyone, after all. Come on, Beamja. We're going.
Look, lady, every time I go into a Nordic ruin and treasure is hinted, I end up with a shout. Fortunately for you, this quest has a funny undertone, kinda. Maybe funny isn't the right word, but it's not like it's too dramatic. It's just Skyrim. Intriguing was the word I was looking for. So, those fellas outside want a treasure. They show up and say, oh, I'm gonna go in anyway, and they become impatient. Funny enough, it's her that becomes impatient. And if you don't remember this quest, then I would like you to remember that little piece of information, cause one of them is gonna be surprised, and it's not Beamja. Also, how many Death Lords do I have to fight in Legendary mode? Okay, I am enjoying the run, but I don't think I'll ever play Legendary mode again. Not for a run, maybe for a challenge. And between you and me, even then, it's just unbalanced. Now, pay attention. That was it, Gathric. Gathric awaits us. It's very interesting to me that Warlord Gathric looks exactly like a dragon priest, and yet there's not gonna be a mask or anything. Also, I have no clue what the shout is gonna be. Can I have a good one? Become ethereal could be useful, especially in Legendary. Now, if you don't mind me, I'm just gonna stagger the bro as the Dromoras do all of the work. No, wait, usually they do, but they just did all of the damage. And I'm level 100 in archery.
I should thank you. I knew the girl wouldn't be strong enough to help me kill Gathric alone. There's just one more thing I need from you. To fully absorb Gathric's power,
I require a blood sacrifice. Your blood should be good enough. This will go easier for us both if you don't bother fighting back.
Oh, but trust me, if he looks like an asshole now, just wait until Salma reacts to it. He's gonna look like a proper traitor. Yeah, ignore her scream for Beamja. She was shooting him as well. And his mission supposedly was to keep her
I
safe.
never trusted Beam. I always thought he was just being overprotective.
And maybe he was, but instinct, you know?
I don't know. Beamja has looked after me since I was knee-high to him. I need to rest, and then I think I'm going back to High Rock. Go on without me. I think I need to be alone for a while.
I'll not even argue, cause we literally took care of every single enemy in the dungeon. She's gonna be fine. In fact, she's just gonna have the safest place to be in Skyrim after the Dragonborn took care of it. And now for a couple locations that I found out have uniquely named NPCs that will aggro in the end. So for the sake of the 100% run, and considering especially that I did not remember anything about these two places, let's do it! And then I see the blind guy at the end of this dungeon. Now I think I remember it, but I don't. I only remember that there was a blind guy at the beginning of a dungeon. So this is just a place where you can be sent for radiant quests, but at the end, there's a little something.
But a half-starved wolf, not a chance.
Right. Lucky if it doesn't rip our throats out.
Well, yes, the bandits should probably focus their attention on not trying to domesticate a wolf on Skyrim. It will not work. But that is not the end of the dungeon. That's just a funny bit. The end of the dungeon is a guy that has unique armor. Well, a bit of armor. So into the Overlook we go to meet Hyvar. I don't know how to pronounce it, but it's Skyrim. So let's be honest, I don't think anyone does. Now, 2 Drumoras and the companion later, as I do my thing with now the bound bow. Yes, I've given up on the real bow, because silly me forgot I'm amazing at conjuration, so let's just use it. And we now have the Iron Hand gauntlets, but onto Harmugstal, where a mage has been conducting an experiment that you might never come across into. And it's quite interesting. Look at this frostbite spider. That's not giving me any damage, but is that a fire cloak? Well, what if I told you that every single spider that we're gonna encounter is either gonna have fire, lightning, or ice magic attached to it? And at the end, we're gonna face the brain behind it. Now, just this puzzle, I had no clue, and this was my first attempt. I'm so proud. Seriously, that was sheer luck. I don't even remember seeing this ever. It just made sense to try it from the right, because it's Skyrim, so, you know, Skyrim logic. There's always a pattern, and it wasn't gonna be the pattern from when you get the Elder Scroll. You know, when you do several clicks on one, then on the other. So I just thought, well, let's do it from the right to the left. That was all. And yeah, look at the spiders. They all have the 3 different enchantments. 1 on each. And this is not a long dungeon, fortunately. So let's just meet the guy that did this.
Perhaps some more glow dust in the next batch of potions. That should increase their resistance.
Well, he can try and improve the resistance all he wants, but maybe he would have been doing better if he had 2 Drumoras. I'm just saying. And hey, you can be the judge of it. Alright, there's 2 doors. Well, kinda, there's 1 door. That one was a window. And Karnalas wasn't much of a fight. And that's it. Now it's high time I go to Heljarken Hall, finish the last homestead, and have a Dragonborn family. Joshua Grams in Skyrim, ready to marry and ready to adopt.